Summer camp is not as much of a thing anymore, and it's not all about the cost. And it looks like I may be the first person into this game. We might think of the pawns in astrological terms, and 4 sets gives us for each element 9 paths. We got our eyes, our nose, our ears, our mouth, genital, anus. 4 player boards. Again, an elemental thing. A camper patch. Okay, 196. I'm not sure what that might mean. Isn't there 64 I Chi bits that we could look at? 34 merit badges. Well, let's see. I like that it's printed on the other side of the box too. And I'm approaching what can be translated as summer down, Samhain, although it more relates to the etymological roots of grouping together. No, Samhain or Samhain does not relate, it's not the name of, death god or something like that. But certainly skills, cooking by fire, and use of essential tools in life. And so we have 9 badges. And to avoid what might be considered inappropriate, I'm not really going to break these down into the 9 gates altogether. We could say the arts and crafts would be most in terms of the mouth. There is some uniqueness going on here, which is part of why board games have fallen out of favor, is because there's not really much to go on to be different. But I probably, cost the value of this a little bit by opening it. And we don't have to go all the way, but let's starting camper is like a participation trophy, isn't it? And so this over here would be the fire, and that would be the air card, and that would be the water card, and this would be the earth card, and the playing pieces. Maybe we should get into something a little bit different with our meaning here. Although we can look at the same qualities, but let's look at, in spirit of something that I'm going to be making my way through as far as my watching in a couple weeks here. We have the soul. Soul's the most important of them all, right? But we could have the opening, the peak, and the merging stages of each. And that could also be said for our emotions. and mind and field of connections to the body. And in the long run, snacks can be something that we need to be careful for. So if we're healthy with that, over time, we can develop even more. Now, this bit over here, without looking at the rules, there's a lot of rules to this one. I guess you can't take your kids to camp. You let them use a game that simulates some of that. Well, there's obviously not that number, but perhaps you want to decide what you want to get up to. And what is the snacks? What gives you the energy to proceed through the tasks? Well, oh, if that's a waterfall, there's a danger feature. And that's one of the things, too. Camps have been ruined because of people and their lawsuits. Some of it, there's issues. So we've seen that there's merit badges for swimming is one of the things that you need to be able to do in life. Knowing how to camp or take things from one place to the other with or without cars would also be another thing that we need to do. We need to be able to entertain ourselves, but maybe we need to entertain ourselves in a way that is more of a long-term benefit and not just wasting our time. Friendship pays off in more than emotional senses. For most people, I think it's not good for them, but, you know. And then there's cooking. Well, you don't have to have gelatin and stuff like that in your marshmallows if that's an issue. But you can consider like the fires, like the primitive offering thing. When you're telling those tales, it used to be myths around the fire and chants and long rituals and all sorts of stuff. And arts and crafts, well, I would disagree with the whole art for art's sake thing, but definitely culling, associating, or collecting according to certain attributes, and then merging. And then we have adventure. And so there's always some unknown. I personally recommend pathworking. And maybe the camp all-star is somebody that is overall of a strong variety. Maybe not the absolute best in anything, but if you're good enough at enough things. But I also think of, like, in recent months, there's been a lot about the stars and stuff that you can work with. And just being there counts.